All right, my friends, it is time once again for the Galaxy of Heroes Top 25. My pollsters have been busy the last few weeks voting on who they believe are the best 25 characters in this game all around. Now, I do want to take a minute to clarify this. I've done this before, but it's been a little bit. The top 25 is a subjective list. It is not a finite list. It is a poll. And so I have a committee of 50 pollsters who every month cast their vote on who they believe are the best 25 characters in the game all around, and that consideration is intended to encapsulate every single game mode, which is becoming a little bit harder to consider because we have so many of them. We've got Arena, we've got Fleet, we've got Squad Arena, or we've got a Grand Arena, we've got Territory Wars, we've got Territory Battles, and it is up to the pollster to determine which game mode are they going to weight a little more heavily. Some might feel like Arena is most important, some might feel like Territory Battles is most important. Whatever their consideration is, I'd be surprised if anyone thought Territory Battles was most important. But anyway, that is what the consideration is. So without any further ado, let's get into the first list of 2019 top 25, starting with the bottom 5. Number 25, we got Finn. 24 is Palpatine. 23 is the Wampa. 22 is Mother Talzin, and 21 is Kylo Ren unmasked. Now, I really like seeing Finn making this list once again, and I'm curious how this is going to change, because right now we've got a nerf pending for Finn and how he's functioning in the raids, and part of me feels like the reason why he's showing up here is because of that Finn C-3PO function in the Sith raid. That is still active right now as of the day that I am recording this video. A lot of us are, thinking we're probably going to see a fix for that soon from Capital Games, and so that might drop him back out of there, but he still does find some pretty valuable use in the game. Now, Palpatine is down to 24. From last month, he was at rank 19, and I do think he has seen a little bit of a diminished use lately, but not that much, and so I'm a little bit surprised by that jump personally. Wampa is showing up on the list. He is up just one. Not really much going on with Wampa. Talzin stayed exactly the same, and Kylo Ren unmasked went up a few spots, and I still feel like Crew might be a little bit underrated just because of how valuable he is now in both Grand Arena and Territory Wars. That's not just one game mode anymore where Crew has a lot of use. It's two game modes now, and he's going to be meta defense in many cases, and so maybe a bit underrated, but then again, we have so many, over 160 characters in this game. There's just a lot of really good characters. All right, next group of 5, we've got number 20, Hermit Yoda. Number 19, Jolie Bindo. 18, Asajj Ventress. General Kenobi comes in at number 17, and number 16 is Bastila Shan. I am a bit surprised that Bastila is coming up this low on the list. This is actually probably one of my more underrated characters in my opinion. She was at 15 last month, so she even took a one-spot dive. And the reason for this is because I feel like Bastila has a ton of use all around the game. She works very well in a Revin team. I'm using her in my Revin team. I think she's part of the best Revin team, and so she's part of the Squad Arena meta. In Territory Wars and Grand Arena, she's part of the defensive meta. Some people save her for offense, and she works fantastic on offense too. She's got a very strong place in raids. She's obviously going to be great in territory battles because of that survivability. And so to me, Bastila, comparing her next to like an R2-D2 or a BB-8, I feel like she's more valuable than those characters at this point, but that's just me. I might be a bit biased towards Jedi. I think General Kenobi makes sense. He was at number 13 last month. He did go down a little bit, and now this is still subjective, but in my humble opinion, I don't think General Kenobi fits in the best Revin team anymore. I actually don't run General Kenobi in my Revin team. I just haven't found as much success with it, and since switching General Kenobi out of my team, I've actually held better on defense, and so by quite a bit actually. And so I think that's probably, maybe other people are seeing that, and so that might be what is attributing to this trend. Asajj Ventress, she stayed the same. Not really much going on with Asajj. She's still great on defense for territory battles, territory wars. Obviously great in raids as well. Jolie Bindo, I think it makes sense that he's a bit lower. Obviously, he's part of probably the meta right now for Arena, and he's got a good place in territory battles and territory wars. But past that, maybe not as much. Well, Grand Arena, obviously. He's very reliant on the rest of the team, too. So, I don't know. I feel like Jolie makes sense there, but he's also part of the meta team, and so I'm not 100% sure how I feel about Jolie Bindo at that spot now that I think about it a bit more. Hermit Yoda makes sense to me there as well. All right, next group of 5, we have got R2-D2 in at number 15, Bossk at number 14, Enfys Nest in at number 13, BB-8 is in at number 12, and Darth Sion comes in at number 11. Now, Darth Sion last month was in at number 9. He's dropped 2 spots. I think that's just kind of making way for new characters, especially C-3PO, who, spoiler, is going to be a bit higher on the list this month. And so that could be mostly why Sion is shifting. I really don't feel like his usability in this game changed much since the last list in December. BB-8, part of a really great JTR team that got better with C-3PO. And so to me, last month BB-8 was at 11. BB-8's now at number 12. Maybe BB-8 should be a bit higher. But again, there's subjectivity there. I'd probably say the best C-3PO team for Squad Arena is probably with CLS, not JTR. But one could make an argument that BB-8 deserves to be in that team. In which case, maybe BB-8's viability got better, and so he should increase on the list. But again, lots of really good characters. Nest, obviously very solid. Nest is just devastating to go against in Grand Arena and in Territory Wars. Not as much of a place as we used to have for Nest in Squad Arena, but some people are still making it work. Bossk, look, my man Bossk, he is probably one of the toughest defensive team leaders in this game when it comes to Territory Wars and Grand Arena, and he stayed at 14. I think that's probably right where he deserves to be. And then R2-D2, not really much to add about R2-D2. All right, getting to the next group of 5, we have got number 10, Han Solo. Number 9 is Grandmaster Yoda. Darth Nihilus in at number 8. Rey Jedi Training at number 7. And Chewbacca in at number 6. So, Grandmaster Yoda dropped a spot. Han Solo did climb from 12. That makes sense to me because C-3PO and Han Solo are a great pair, especially when you throw Chewbacca in there. And Chewbacca as well jumped from 10 until up to 6. This is indicative of the shifting meta right now. Obviously, Revin is still the meta in Squad Arena, but we have a very, very viable counter that is comprised of CLS, Han, Chewie, and C-3PO, and then probably R2-D2 in there as well. And so that is why you are seeing those characters climb. Now, it's not just because of Squad Arena. Remember, these characters are going to be extremely usable in Grand Arena, in Territory Wars, and also in, some areas of raids. And so to me, it makes a lot of sense. They are definitely all around characters viable. And of course, this wasn't as much of a consideration for this list. The Falcon's still fresh, and so I'm not sure how heavily this was weighed, but Han Solo and Chewie are also now vital for the current ship meta, which is of course going to be Rebels with the new Falcon. Darth Nihilus did drop a few spots. With him, I really don't feel like much changed with Darth Nihilus. It was just more that you kind of have the C-3PO meta kind of coming in. It's the main counter to Revin teams. Probably a better option, frankly, than Traya in many cases. And so he's probably just dropping to make way for C-3PO. Speaking of, let's break down the top 5. Number 5 is C-3PO. Number 4, we've got Darth Traya. 3 is Commander Luke Skywalker. Grand Admiral Thrawn comes at number 2, and Jedi Knight Revin is number 1. And Revin did run away with this one just a bit. And to me, it doesn't make me upset at all to see Revin that high on the list, just because, it's more than just Squad Arena right now. Revin is the best in raids. He is the best for Squad Arena. He's probably the best team for Grand Arena, probably the best team for Territory Wars. It's just, there's so many areas of this game. Show me one place in this game that Revin doesn't shine. And the only place I can think of is Revin by himself. But this list is not a best standalone character list. This is just a best character list. And we are always considering those characters at their best because that's the only place you ever see them. So why consider them anywhere else? That's just my opinion. So Revin at number 1 makes sense. Thrawn, I do think, is still probably the second best character in this game. It's interesting to me to see the swap of Traya and Commander Luke Skywalker, and that to me is really poetic justice, because I do feel like there was a turning of the tide. Traya was probably the best, most viable counter to Revin, and it was pretty shaky in most cases. Commander Luke Skywalker is now it. Now that C-3PO came in, and so I definitely think that this swap needed to happen. Traya taking the place of Commander Luke Skywalker taking Traya's place as the best counter to Revin, and that bleeds into not just Grand Arena, or not just Squad Arena, but Grand Arena, Territory Wars, etc. And then C-3PO, obviously at 5, I completely support that because of how vital he was to that. He did shake things up pretty good. And then one last comment I want to make about Commander Luke Skywalker, because we do have, it looks like Jedi Revin's event is coming back pretty soon, probably. And a lot of people wonder, now that Revin's been out for a while, is it worth going for him again? My question to you is CLS still worth it? And I don't think anyone's going to look at me in the face and say CLS is not worth it. He has had his ups and downs, but this original Hero's Journey character has continued to find so much viability in this game, and that has increased with time. It's, he's gone through phases where maybe not as viable, but then we got C-3PO, then we've got, Chewbacca. And so to me, if Commander Luke Skywalker is still sitting at number 3 overall in this game, Jedi Revin is going to be worth it for a long time, and so I definitely think you guys should still go all out and get your Revins when he does come back. All right, my friends, what are some of your thoughts on the top 25 for the month of January? Now, usually, because we got the test accounts back, we do a tournament every month. I'm going to forgo that for the month of January just because we've got the Galaxy of Heroes World Cup going on. You guys have the tournament in front of you. We're just going to focus on the World Cup this month. The finale is still yet to come. That will be coming later this week, so stay tuned. Team USA did make it to the knockout phase, which I'm stoked about. I'm going to be cheering them on, but I have to say, Team Germany looks pretty freaking scary. I personally would put money on them right now, but I hope Team USA can prove me wrong and take the title. So stay tuned for that. That will be coming here in a few days. Let me know what you thought about the list down in the comments below. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, my brothers, don't forget.
My dead body. Sorry about the mess.